although they are an expert, although they have enormous amounts of experience in their industry, they have not figured out how to encapsulate that and, consistently show up as that expert.
Martians landed?
Yes.
Wearing Prada suits?
Yes.
Drinking Henry Seltzer?
Yes.
Chewing juicy fruit?
Yes, and?
Your branding here?
Yes, brand.
Your message here?
Yes, and?
A verse about?
Yes.
Your product here?
Yes.
I'm Hirsch Redman.
Yes, and?
I'm a message therapist.
Yes.
And I have a podcast.
Yes, brand.
That's right, that's it.
Yes.
We'll help you fix the world.
Yes.
Or your bottom line.
All right.
Your bottom line.
Get it. I get it. Welcome to the Yes Brand Podcast.
In the hot seat today on Yes Brand is Arias WebsterBerry. Arias is he's a very successful entrepreneur. We're very lucky to have him today. He's a digital marketing strategist, a business coach. He founded WebsterBerry Marketing, Ignite Funnels, and Launch Ignition AI. And he's got more than a decade of experience in digital marketing. He's generated more than $112 million in revenue for his clients by helping them grow their online presence and scale their businesses using automation, cutting edge marketing strategies. We're going to talk about some of those cutting edge strategies. He's also the author of Content Cannon, a guide that empowers entrepreneurs to create impactful content strategies that resonate with their audience and drive business growth. He's got a mission to help 1,000 entrepreneurs achieve $100,000 plus, and 100 entrepreneurs generate $1 million by 2026. Arias, welcome to Yes Brand.
Hirsch, thank you for having me, sir.
It's great to have you here. I want to talk about failure because in our chat a little while back, we talked about failing faster, and I just want to get it out of the way, much like most people do. How do we fail faster to get where we're going, in your opinion?
That's a great question, and I don't think that enough people talk about it because we are the land of Hollywood, and in Hollywood, the guy always gets the girl, the big house, and rides off into the sunset on the biggest horse, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the adversity is always the shortest part of the story.
Right.
There's a few mishaps, but there's no real, adversity that takes any significant period of time. And for those that we see as the most accomplished, the most successful, the most magnanimous in any industry, they're usually that way because they have failed more than everyone else. They've got more no's. They got kicked in the teeth. They usually had a harder upbringing in childhood and a tougher road. So they're someone that you cannot knock down. And it's something that bears putting an extremely fine point on for anybody who's trying to achieve really anything, but especially in business. And I think that failing faster is the one thing that I did not do early on in my career. It's why it's taken me so long to get to this point, where I'm seeing success. Early in my career, whenever something didn't go right or a business failed or I tried a venture and, it didn't hit the numbers I wanted it to, I took it as a sign that I wasn't designed for this thing. It was the universe or God telling me that, I'm not as talented as everyone else around me because everyone else seems to be doing great, right? Everybody's got all the money and the cars and everybody's got not a care in the world, especially if you look on Instagram.
By the way, everyone else always is doing better. I don't know who they are, but whoever they are, everyone else is just got it. They just got it so easy.
It always seems that way, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's life is perfect on the gram. So, it in my eyes, I thought that my failures was my failures meant that I was a failure. And it
Mhm.
wasn't that it was just a bump in the road. It wasn't, a footnote in a chapter of my success. And me taking that to heart, I would take a really long time to recover. Right, I'd experience a setback or things wouldn't go my way, and sometimes it was years before I tried anything entrepreneurial again. And that's simply because I had the wrong mind frame when it came to failure, to adversity, and obstacles. And now I realize that um, I need to plan to fail, right? I need to look forward to the failure. I was a sales manager for a really long time. I was in sales for a really long time. And when I got really good at it is when I heard the phrase, every no leads to a yes, right? There's a really good book called Go for No, amazing book in sales, and it empowers you with the no, because once you start to get into the numbers and the conversion rates, you realize that you know maybe for every 10 pitches you get 7 no's, but you get 3 yeses. Well,
Yeah.
then you just start counting. It's like, all right, well, first 4 people said no. Awesome. I'm getting closer to a yes, right? And that's the same approach that I've now taken in business. Every time I hit adversity or maybe things don't go my way, I'm like, all right, well, got that one out of the way. Let's try it
Yeah.
again. Oh, well, that crap didn't go well. Okay, let's try it again. And now it's taking me a lot less time to get to success because I am standing up, dusting myself off, and getting back to it a lot quicker.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a great way of looking at it. We got to get to that no quicker because it's coming. It's there. It's almost like a class. If we thought of it as we're in college or we're in school and we got to go to this next class, that no is that next class. No's don't happen just out of bad luck. Like it's not a run of bad luck. It's just that in order to get a really good sample of, your close rate, let's say, you have to get a healthy number of calls, of meetings in there. And you have to have enough that there's plenty of no's and hopefully some yeses in there. Um, Let's talk about this. Tell me a little bit about social authority, because when we talk about branding, you're offering something now that's kind of interesting and a little bit off the beaten path to help people up their social authority, what you would call it. Just to tell the audience a little bit about that.
Yeah, social authority is our newest product at my agency, WebsterBerry Marketing, and it's something that we're super proud of. It is the combination of social media management, which is pretty common nowadays, but we also blend in public relations. We have a whole public relations division, so they help to get you on news stations, into magazines and newspapers like the LA Times or Forbes. They also help you to really build um, who you are and establish what you're known for and what you are seen as an expert in. And once we establish that thing, well, then we help you publicize it and get more attention to it. So social authority is the combination of credibility, visibility, and influence across social media and digital platforms. It's about being seen as the go-to expert in your industry so that when people think of a particular industry or service, they immediately think of you. And in doing that, it builds trust, it attracts high quality clients, and it also makes marketing easier because instead of you chasing customers and prospects, they're now coming to you because you've already got that third party validation and you're showing up everywhere that they look.
Well, you just said the thing that's one of the closest to my heart, which is third party validation. My background is in PR. I started in PR, and the thing that now with my clients, if I'm working with them on their messaging, and that's my, personal brand building and messaging and strategy. But a natural next step is getting the word out there, getting exposure. You have a great message, you got a great, but nobody knows it. It's like that. Who wants to be that best kept secret? Nobody wants to be that best kept secret. So the idea of having a new approach appeals to me because I've seen the the way it used to work. You built these relationships with magazine editors and so forth in your niche or whatever it might be, and you would pitch them your client stories. Even that was challenging. Now
Mhm.
with so many people out there and so many online avenues or portals, it's even harder. Uh, Give us a kind of an example of how a customer comes to you, and if you don't mind, maybe walk through the process of this social authority, because it really sounds very, very advantageous to me, and I just want to hear a little more about the experience of the client.
Yeah, a lot of our clients are experts, right? They've been in business for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, or maybe they are a professional that was in corporate America and has decided to strike out on their own. They've got tons of experience, but no one really knows who they are, right? They've got 100, 200 followers on Instagram or Twitter, and all they've been posting is cat videos and pictures of their grandkids or their kids, right? Or maybe their latest Starbucks purchase. And although they are an expert, although they have enormous amounts of experience in their industry, they have not figured out how to encapsulate that and consistently show up as that expert. So one of the first things we do is we want to know, what do you do? like give me your background. Did you go to school for this? Have you been working at a large company? What kind of wins and losses have you had? We also want to get into their origin story, right? So because people don't want to know what you know until they know that you care, right?
Right.
And it's easy for them to understand that you care if you have a similar background, or they can find some common ground in your story. So we kind of dig into their origin story, and now we've got enough to kind of go to market. Like, we know what you do, we know where you come from, we know who you're talking to or who your target demographic is, and then we go about trying to find some industry publications, as well as some podcasts, newspapers, maybe some local news stations, and we just get into pitching in mass, right? I've got a team, and I am all over them like white on rice, right? About
Hmm.
getting out in front of enough media outlets and individual reporters to get us some numbers, right? Get some results in that first month. So we pitch, and then simultaneously, our social media division is um, combing their website, combing any videos on YouTube or any other social media, and using that as a base to kind of develop a brand voice. We take that and then we start to create some scripts, and we kind of work with them in order to create that content. They kick it over to us, and then we go about chopping it up. Our video team edits it all, and then it turns into multiple pieces of short form and long form content. The client approves it. We schedule it to go out, and then at the same time, usually towards the end of the month, we start seeing some of those publications come out. Maybe some of those segments on podcast and maybe news programs are coming, and we use those as additional pieces of content that we can now clip and publicize. Um, and that starts to be the foundation. 60 to 90 days of that continuously. You should have 60 to 120, 140 pieces of content that are now out in the world with your face, telling people, the details and why you're an expert. You should have multiple um, publications that have published you, showing your expertise. It now gives you kind of that little logo that you can say "as seen on," or all those different things, and that gives you a financial, I mean, not a financial, a foundation to stand on that says, hey, not only do I have umpteen years of experience doing this, but also I've been associated with all of these brands. And if you don't believe me, go to my YouTube, go to my Instagram, go to my Twitter, and I've got a laundry list of content where you can kind of see that I know my stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. It's that 1-2 punch of, you got your pitching, at the same time, you're making sure that they're generating content, that content's on brand. I think that's a challenge a lot of people have. They may be doing content, but they're not actually messaging consciously
Yeah.
or conscientiously. They're really just feeding this what they perceive as this huge vacuum that needs content, but they're
Mhm.
not they're not putting the right kind of content out there, you know. And tell me a little bit about how you get WebsterBerry marketing out there, because that's why we call it the hot seat, because we are not only sharing great stuff for the audience, which you are, but you're also sharing from your own experience as a brand, building your brand. So tell us a little bit about that brand building journey.
Yeah. There's an old saying that says the cobbler's kids or son has the worst shoes.
Hmm.
After doing social media and doing shoots and photo shoots, video shoots, editing things, talking to reporters and journalists and podcasters all day, typically the last thing we want to do is do the same thing for us.
Right, right,
Uh, but we've decided that that's going to be a priority. So one of the reasons why you and I are talking right now, I made a commitment that I set a goal for myself that I was going to do 100 podcasts before summer, which was ambitious, but turned out to be right on time. We're already 60% of the way, and it's only been like 90 days, right? Uh,
hmm
so that's one thing, right? Podcast. We've been doing press for ourselves as well. But one of the big things that we've been focusing on is creating long form content, and also reaching out to past customers and getting testimonials. Nothing speaks better than other people that have done business with you saying nice things about you, right? People that not some faceless stock photo at the bottom of your website with John R.
right,
Uh,
right,
but a flesh and blood person, not an AI generated person that you can search them and realize that they have a business. They can easily be found saying things about your business and letting people know the realities of doing business with you. So we've been working on that a lot lately, and beefing up a lot of our systems. So we're getting heavy in. So at the top of next month, we're going to go ahead and roll out a lot of our automated AI systems. So we're doing omni-channel AI agents. So we're doing email agents, text agents, social media agents, as well as voice. So when you call WebsterBerry Marketing, you'll be able to have a conversation with an AI representative, and not one that says press one for accounting, press
hmm
two for sales. One that can actually have contextual conversations, and more importantly, reference past conversations across multiple channels. So if
Well,
we already have your phone number, go ahead.
yeah, no, I was going to say, because this is really interesting, because we're now getting to that place where AI is becoming more sophisticated. Now it's a question of our own kind of adoption of the technology and how we relate to it. So,
Mhm.
in other words, and I love, by the way, what you said about the testimonials, because it's, I'll see that on a site, John R or whatever, unless you're selling shavers, and it really doesn't matter who the person is. It just matters that they're a verified customer.
Yeah,
If you're really selling a service, a one-on-one service, a product that, you're going to stand behind, you really need to see who the people are that are using it.
definitely.
So I wanted to underscore that point. But now, when it comes to people calling up and they're talking to an AI, how does that play out? Because so many people are like dubious. Am I talking to a person? Am I talking to an AI? How do you deal with that?
Hey, you be honest.
Yeah,
The worst thing you can do is just lie to people, and they can clearly tell there's a little delay and your voice inflection is a little weird. You don't sound like the normal, guy in a call center or a receptionist that hasn't had her coffee this morning. Uh,
right.
you're it's a little off. So if that question is asked, it's in the code to let, yes, I am an AI assistant.
Right.
However, I do have the ability to help you with whatever you need. So one of the
Yeah.
biggest big things that we had to solve for is how do we let this thing be a actual I in AI, intelligent, right?
Hmm.
Instead of it just, being able to respond to conversation, we needed to give it the ability to actually take action. So, our AI has the ability to schedule actual meetings. So it has access to our calendars. So when you talk back and forth and you say, hey, yeah, I'd love to meet and get a demo. What days do you have available? It can then search the available calendar and say, hey, I've got tomorrow, which is Wednesday, at 2 p.m. and I've got another opportunity at 4:30. Which one works better? It's actually referencing in real time. And then if you say, oh, actually, never mind. I forgot that I have to pick my kids up tomorrow. I won't be available on Wednesday. What do you have Friday? Again, it can go search, find the available slots, and have that conversation, and then book the actual appointment. And then, based on some of the automations we already have set, it will trigger that email and text message and put it on your Google Calendar if it's attached to a Google account. Um, and then automated email follow-ups, text follow-ups, all those different things. But also its ability to we're getting into it being able to process payments, refund payments, notify team members when something's come up based on let's say if it was something about accounting, or if it was something in our social authority division, knowing who to direct calls to in order to get them to the right person. So
Yeah.
really giving it tools to play with so it then becomes intelligent and it's more than just a talking box.
Yeah. I think that's absolutely the right direction. And you said it just plainly, Arias. Just be honest. I have a AI I'm experimenting with on my website, and it's just virtual Hirsch. It's like it doesn't look like me. It's kind of it just said it. It's a young kind of looks like a supermodel type of dude with long hair and a beard. And it's like, yeah, I'm not Hirsch. I'm what he would like himself to be. So let's have a conversation. Have fun with that, because people are adapting to those conversations. They're not put off by the artificial aspect. They're put off by the dishonesty, or someone getting over on them. Um,
Yeah.
this is great stuff. I do want you to share with the audience where they can find you, but then maybe circle back around with a little advice for entrepreneurs out there that may be overwhelmed by all of the different tools and all of the different, including AI, all the different content and stuff that's out there. They just might be feeling some overwhelm. If you could give them a piece of advice.
Yeah. It kind of goes back to our conversation about failure, right? Whenever you're trying something for the first time, whether that is a business, a specific activity, or trying to implement a new piece of technology, say AI, you need to expect the failure, right? The first time you try, you may not hit it out of the park. It may not work exactly the way you want it to. It may get some things wrong. You need to plan for that and just realize that it's part of the process. And when it comes to being overwhelmed with this new found technology and all the new things that we have access to, these things that were once fantasies when I was watching the Jetsons as a kid, um, it's really about one, not trying to implement everything at once. I think many times you see as entrepreneurs, we get shiny object syndrome, right? You get some ad on a social media platform. You're like, oh, that's amazing. Wow, I didn't know we could do that. Yeah, I got to sign up for that right now. And I'm going to, just completely screw off my entire day playing with this new thing that I just bought or got a trial for. In my company, we have a backlog for all things. So if I come across something that I really like and I want to do, instead of me forcing, my team or myself to do it immediately, I kind of just put it on the list, right? It's once we have some time or bandwidth, we'll get to it. Or if it's urgent, or if it's not urgent now, it may be urgent later. So just kind of put it somewhere to where you can always get to it. Label it, get the website, put it in the description. So if you need it later, you can go searching for it. But I think the best thing you can do in order to implement technology in a systematic and regular pace is just to find things as problems or needs arise, right? Instead of you trying to force in a AI agent like I was just talking about into your house painting business, you know, do you even have enough calls to like justify that? Is that really a big thing in your business? Or, you know, could an automated quoting system take precedent or priority over something like that? I think with technology you need to use it as you see the need, not just because your neighbor next to you has got some new shiny little piece of software that he's raving about.
You hear that, people? Don't go down that rabbit hole of the early adopter shiny object.
Mhm.
I have to have every app known to man because not everything is a solution, and some things are just a distraction. And I like what you said, Arias. There's go by what needs to be done,
Mhm.
not by what can be done, because anything is possible. And the time and the place, I can tell by looking at your space. And for those of you watching on YouTube, you can see Arius has a very organized and kind of elegant space. Got a little virtual fire going on in the background there, which is
Mhm.
nice. I can tell you're a guy who's kind of got it organized, got it together, and I appreciate your being on the show today. We do have to get your info. It'll be in the show notes, but let the audience know where they can find you.
Yeah, my agency is very easy to find. I believe I'm on the only WebsterBerry on the planet as of now. So if you look up WebsterBerry Marketing, if you Google it, or if you just go to WebsterBerry.com, you can get to my agency, see all the various things that we offer, from video editing, social media advertising, social authority, and the variety of things. We build sites and funnels and apps, all those different things. We do a ton of stuff, so you can go there. If you're trying to get in contact with me directly, you can look up Arias Web. I think Arias Web is on most, if not all, platforms. So Arias, ARIASWEB, as in Bravo, on any platform out there, you can find me directly. But if you're looking for some services, look up WebsterBerry Marketing, and we'll be more than happy to see if we can help.
Alright.
If you liked the show,
Yes, and?
it worked for you,
Yes, then?
subscribe and leave a
Yes, friend.
5-star review.
Yes, friend.
Tell all your friends.
Yes, friend.
Get your branding here.
Yes, friend.
Get your branding here.
Yes, friend.
Did I make it clear?
Yes, friend.
Get your branding on.